Is it too late to get involved with Helldivers 2 in 2025? Well, actually no. There's so many amazing parts to this game, and the team have let us know that there are some big things coming in the near future. So whether you've played this game before or finally giving Helldivers 2 a chance, I think now is the perfect time. So for this video, we're going to break it up into two parts. If you are brand new to the world of Helldivers 2, we're going to quickly run through the ship, the stratagems, the things you need to know before you dive into the gameplay. We're still going to do that pretty quick to make sure it's efficient. However, if you already know all that, just simply skip to this timestamp where we'll dive more into the action. So in Helldivers 2, you get trusted with your own spaceship here where you travel around the galaxy and defeat one of three enemy foes. We have the Terminids, which are an alien species, kind of like Tyranids in Warhammer 40k. Then there's the Automatons, which are a robot species, as well as the Illuminate, and more on those a little bit later. In terms of difficulty, we would rank the Terminids as the easiest, but there is different difficulties for each, ranging from level 1 all the way to level 10, which is absolutely insane. But quick, let me show you the ship. There's a few things you want to know about. At this first terminal, what you do is you simply interact here. Here we have stratagems. So stratagems in this game are things like heavy weapons that you could bring in. You also have the ability to throw things from orbit, bombs and lasers and things like that, nukes. You can call vehicles and sentries and things like that. That is this menu. Also in the game, you'll notice their samples. As you can see, there is common, rare, and super rare samples, as well as the game currency that they call requisition slips and medals. Now, all of those have their own components in the game. So the samples themselves, they're used to make the ship better. So you can unlock things like getting less time for items to appear, more bombs dropped from barrages, as well as other abilities that help you out in the game. Now, the next area on our ship, we have the Armory. So you can interact here, and here you get to choose your primary weapon. They have assault rifles, machine guns, shotguns, and explosive weapons. When I'm playing the automatons, I often like using explosive. However, for the Terminids, I usually choose a shotgun, and incendiary items are really good as well. So I was playing the automatons earlier, so I had my heavy pistol. Now I am going to go to a grenade pistol because there's some bug holes that you'll see soon. And then for the throwable, with heavier armor, we have thermite. But since I'm playing the bugs, I am going to equip the incendiary. And then the final section to show you before we dive into the action is your acquisition center. Here you have Warbonds. This is where you have the ability to unlock exclusive skins, but also get weapons and other in-game items like armor and things like that. So within this Warbond session, you actually use medals to unlock things. So if I scroll down to something I haven't unlocked yet, you can see this gun right here is currently 40 to get the Liberator Penetrator, and I have 56, so if I wanted, I could buy that. And then you can't simply scroll down and purchase something from the last page because you have to spend medals to get that first. The next aspect of this is super credits. Super credits you can farm in game, and we can talk more about that later. Or you can, if you don't mind spending money on games, you can actually purchase them, and depending on your region, it is around $10 for 1,000 super credits, and every 1,000 super credits opens a new Warbond. Or you can buy exclusive armors, but that is less necessary. And in terms of armor in Helldivers, you have the helmet and a cape that are just aesthetic, and then you have the body armor, and you simply get to choose between light armor, which helps you run around the map faster, you generate your stamina more quickly, and can overall get around quicker. And then the other side of the armor is heavy, where you actually run slower and you run out of stamina, but you have a lot more protection against damage. And then each armor has its own ability. So what I like is the Demolition Specialist, because not only does it reduce recoil, but it gives me 2 extra grenade slots, as well as, of course, the being able to run around the map a lot faster. And then kind of a fun Easter egg in the game is the emotes. And what's really cool is they have the salute that you actually need to use in game to raise flags, and then the hug, which is just fun. Sometimes you'll have a good match with someone or accidentally kill someone, and you can actually physically hug other players in the game, which is kind of just like a fun little thing the Helldiver devs have added, and people actually use it a lot in game. So you're gonna want to unlock that hug as quick as you can. Now, here we have the overall galaxy map from Helldivers, and if I zoom out here, Here you have Super Earth. You'll learn a little bit more about in the tutorial, but honestly, the lore in this game is so funny, and I can't wait for them to release more. In fact, there's rumors that Sony is actually going to be making a movie all about Helldivers, so if that is true, I can't wait to see it because it is going to be hilarious. Now, if we look here, we have 3 different sectors. We have the purple, which is the Illuminate. This is the newest game mode, so this is being heavily played right now. And then we have the automatons. They have taken over a lot. A few days ago, there was only a tiny bit left, and we can see there's 21,000 people playing in this zone. And then in the yellow is the terminids, which is the insects. So we can go to different sectors. You just simply click on a sector, and then once you're within a sector, you then bring up your missions. You hover over the mission to see what you have to do. Here, you're gonna have different missions, and they're usually 40 minutes. You might have to extract, raise Super Earth flags, plant drills and nukes, gather information, and so much more. The missions in Helldivers 2 are actually really well thought out and put together. And then the other class of mission are like a blitz mission, and they're like 12 to 15 minutes, where you're quickly running around, having to kill as many enemies as possible in a short amount of time. They are a huge sweat. So now if we go to the map, I'm just gonna back out one stage here, and we can change the difficulty by going back and forth. It starts off at trivial, medium I'd say, where it starts to get a little bit challenging, kind of, and then level 4, called challenging, is where most players will start. Sure, you might die a couple times when you first start, but then after that, you start to get the hang of things. And then level 5, you start to have more characters, but the monsters you face are all, fairly easy to kill. And then level 6, extreme, that's where things start to get more difficult. You're getting spawn of elite enemies with a lot more armor and can do a lot more damage to you. And then from those, you've got the Bile Titan and the Impaler, which are gruesome, and then the Thrasher, which is a heavily armored tank style alien. So for the sake of this video, to make it easier to talk to you guys while I'm playing solo, I'll put it on level 3, which is medium, but you can probably get started into level 4 fairly quickly, especially if you've got some friends. So now the purpose of this mission here is to go get some launch codes and launch an ICBM for democracy.
Say hello to democracy!
As you'll hear them say. Honestly, the lore in this game is so cool. So many quick one-liners. It's honestly a great time. So here we need to get some launch codes and then bring them over to our launch ICBM. So I'm going to start us here, and then at the end, we have to go over to that extraction. Now, at the start of these missions, you get to pick what type of things you want to take. I am going to take the 500 kg nuke. Now, this is what you see in those trailers, that massive explosion. Here, you gotta grind it up a little bit to unlock some of these stratagems, but honestly, going from level 1 to level 8 is so quick, and you get them there. And one hack for you to level up faster, don't start these missions by yourself if you're a solo player. There's already active missions that are going on, so if you start a mission 15 minutes in and they've only got 10 minutes left, you only have to play the last 10 minutes with them. You'll see how they're doing the objectives, and you'll only have to play 10 minutes to get all that XP instead of having to play like a full 30-minute mission. Now, back to the stratagems, we're gonna take the 500 kg bomb. We are also going to take the orbital laser to thin out crowds.
Orbital inbound!
We are going to take a grenade launcher because there's bug holes that we want to kill. Some of these, like I was saying earlier, you'll unlock a little later, but grenade launcher is one that you unlock fairly quickly. And then finally, just for some support, I am also going to bring in a sentry, and you get sentries really early too, so that just helps support along the battlefield. And then finally, you get boosters. These are power-ups that you buy in that Warbond section that I showed you a little bit earlier with medals. I'm going to click starting with full ammo, but there's other things like giving you increased stamina, less enemy presence, just things like that. And as you're landing, you can actually steer the space pods. So I just came over here because this looked like a mountain, and I could survey the map before I go. So on this specific planet, we get sandstorms where you can actually see pretty much nothing. If you see off in the distance over there, that is a bug hole. That's steam kind of coming out of the ground. And around this map, there's going to have points of interest. So I simply press tab, bring up the map, and I can scroll to see everything. So if I go up to that, a point of interest will appear on the map. We have the objectives, but then also there's things like a radar tower a safe cannon to set up. So there's different sub-objectives as you're playing that you want to look out for as well. And don't worry about learning everything in like a video like this. The more you play, you're going to learn it as you go. And honestly, in a game like this, that's the best way to learn. Don't worry about your score or things like that in the beginning. Just have fun and you'll learn everything. One thing I love to do is to try and look out for the radar tower because that'll give me a full map. But unfortunately, I don't see it. So it must be somewhere else in the map. Now, the first thing we have to do is to get the launch codes. So I will go over there and it looks like we can see them in the distance. Now, there is fall damage in this game, so I will see if there's a way I can gently come down. Hey, there we go. I ragdolled, but we are good. So this is a point of interest. At point of interest, you'll have things like samples. So we can see here a common sample, so I can pick that up. And then there's things like ammo and stuff as well. And here's stims. So if you stab yourself in the neck to get your health boost back and sprint back, you can pick up stims here as well. So throughout the map, you'll see different points of interest like this where you can collect items. You can also find medals and super credits like we were talking about earlier in these point of interest. So the key things that you're going to find in the map as you're doing the objectives are those samples to upgrade your ships, the medals to buy things in the warbonds, and the super credits to help you unlock other warbonds or special armor and things like that. I picked the light class, so I'm able to sprint a lot more, but I am currently out of sprint, so I will let it chill for a minute. And then I'm just going to bring up the map by pressing tab. We can see that there's 2 enemies there in front of me. They're glowing. This is actually a side objective. My main objective is over there. The side objective is to destroy this lab, so I will do that. And then just to let you know, to bring up your stratagems on PC anyway, it's control. So I hit control, and then I have to actually type in those codes. Quick hack, before you start playing the game, make sure you go over to your options and to your controller or mouse and keyboard and key in what you want for your stratagems, because you're going to originally have to press WSAD, but then you can't run around. So what I do is I have set them to the up, down, left, right arrows. That way I can still run around as I call in stratagems. So now here we have to destroy all facility buildings. So first I'm gonna, I see a flammable container, so I'll just shoot that. Oh, I took too long. So see how he's breathing up in the air? That means he's calling a bug hole. So I should have killed him quicker. That is one thing to know. If you take too long to kill an enemy, he will in fact call his friends, and we don't want to be there for that because we are by ourselves. We don't want to get hurt. We just want to have a quick game. So now I'm being chased by an enemy horde, and there is another patrol here. So this is where stratagems really come in handy. I'm going to keep running, call it down, and then I can turn around and throw it at my enemies here. And you will see, let me just run away from the blast. But it just landed, and then boom, we just got 6 kills of the enemies. As you play more, there's going to be a lot more enemies, so you can kill more than 6 with a nuke. Another thing you have in the game is your resupply. So I'm going to call that in now since I had to use a few stims in a battle there. And here is your chance to top up your stims to give your health back, as well as getting your bullets. So there we go. Called down the supplies, and we are back to full health and stims. And now, since I was running, we are actually at the objective, and it is to receive the launch codes. Another thing to note that you can hit Alt to dive away. So this guy, he breathes acid, and then it gets your health down. So what I can do is run to the side and jump out of the way to dodge acid or other aliens' attacks. So here, if we look at the ground, we have the launch codes. So we pick that up. So this is what you see in so many trailers. The hell bomb, the absolute devastation of this thing is amazing. So once you arm it, you just want to run away. And then what you'll see a lot of players do is the famous hug by pressing the emote, and then you will see it go off. That is so satisfying. So as you can see here, for doing these side objectives, we got 200 extra credits as well as 50 XP. And the higher you go up, you can get things like an extra 1,000 credits and 200 XP for these side objectives. So now I'm just gonna run down the map here, have my friend defending me. If I look right here, I have the safe cannon. So that is a barrage cannon where one thing that you'll notice in this game is you have a mission timer. It might be 15 minutes, it might be 40 minutes, but then at the end, if you're still playing, none of your stratagems will work except for this one. So it's very clutch to have an extra stratagem. So especially if you're a lower level, right off the bat, you can have a much more powerful stratagem. But the trick is, don't hit the terminal right away because it'll call enemies. Get these shells and bring them first. Now, a trick, this is how slow you walk if you just carry it. However, if you sprint and keep clicking drop and pick up, you can actually move so much faster. So we stack all these here before we call the terminal to make things easier. Let's see. Oh, my friend didn't know that. So now we have enemies coming. So that he should have watched this video to know that we don't want to call that until we have all of the ammo there, because now he just caused, oh, and he died. So that is not good because now I'm here by myself. I will drop this and come back for it. Let me just call a bomb on that to help me clear some of this horde. These guys are super deadly, so let's just get rid of him right away. Hopefully I'm gonna dive. Hopefully my nuke doesn't kill me. Oh, dive. So as you're diving, you actually get some protection from damage. Same with being fully prone on the ground. So if a big explosion is happening, prone, and you can actually stay alive. So another tip there for you. Also, I'm in need of some more supplies. So let me call in this resupply, and then go back and fill up the safe cannon. So now back to this. Just remember, it is sprint, pressing forward, and then just tapping the drop and pick up the whole time. And like we just saw, don't start the terminal until you've dropped all of your shells here. One thing you'll notice with these artillery shells is they'll all have something different. They have mini nukes, which are really impressive. This is a static field, so I'll put this at the very end. You have different, and the order you put them in is the order you'll use them. So napalm is next, explosive, high yield explosive, even better, and then we've got another explosive. If you look around, there's a mini nuke, that's the best. So now all I have to do is go back to the terminal. Like you'll see, all of these objectives, pretty much you need to interact with the terminal. And now we go up on one side to see as high as it'll go, 55, and then we use the other side to get it up to 100. And now we are good to go. And then in just a minute, we will be able to use this sieve cannon. And another thing to note, when you're playing Helldivers, there's a time to fight the enemies, and then there's a time to run. I haven't done the rest of the mission yet, and my friend is over here. So instead of staying by myself and fighting those guys, it's gonna be better to run over to my fellow gamer. And here I'm just gonna see, I walked around a little bit to see if it was a radar tower, but it wasn't. This planet, like I spoke about earlier, does get sandstorms, so you can't see anything, but also the enemies can't see you. Headphones are great because you can hear exactly where enemies are. Right now I'm not playing with headphones, so I'm kind of a bit lost, but that's okay. Now I'm just gonna decouple. If we look as I'm sprinting, see the white bar in the bottom, that is my sprint bar, and if it flashes red, I have to run out. If you're running away from enemies, you wanna be careful that you're not maxing that out, because it would suck if you wanna run away and you can't. There we go. So this game is all about teamwork. My friend is on the control panel, and I am unlocking everything for the ICBMs. Now it is time to hit the terminal. Good, now 10 seconds, and for Helldivers, this is one of the most famous scenes in the game, is launching the actual ICBM. Mission complete. Oh, I was too close to it, I blew back. But there she goes. And it's going to impact over there, and we will see the impact wave come across the map. There we go. Well done, Helldivers. So as we just saw flash across the screen, the mission is complete. However, the side objectives, we haven't done the radar tower, we have done the safe cannon, and we have destroyed the lab. So that means the radar tower is somewhere where we haven't explored yet. So if we run here, this question mark will be bug holes. So this is definitely something I want to have a friend to help me with, but I don't know if he is going to stay or not. So bug holes and things like this are to get extra experience in the game. I will call down that grenade launcher because I need that to get in there. And then when the fire animation goes super small like it is here, that's when you can go and you can run across it. However, if you go before that time, it will burn you and you can die very quickly from fire. So if we go over here, you can throw a grenade down the bug hole, or in this case, I've got a grenade launcher. So I'll launch the grenade launcher and you can see it closed that up. Oh, I shot it, but a bug was there at the same time. So the bug blocked it. Let me just go over to this side, take another aim. Oh, you want to be dead on with these because oftentimes, and then with these, you can also find common samples. Because I'm by myself, I'm just going to run out of there, but you can see I got that objective complete, and I got more requisition slips, which are the game's currency, as well as experience points. Okay, so we can see in the top, he has called the shuttle. So he is only here from himself, which is too bad because we started the mission to have fun and me show you around the map. But unfortunately, when he does call that in, we don't have any choice but to run to the shuttle, because if the shuttle leaves without you, then unfortunately you lose all the samples that you have picked up. So bug hole is spawning, so I want to get out of here as quick as I can. Here, this thing flashing here, that is an example of a medal or super credits or a rarer sample inside these pods. So all you gotta do is go up to them, interact, you'll salute, and then once you do that, it'll open up and you'll be able to claim the prize inside. And then as you can see, there was a blue light in the sky. That's what leads you to the extraction point. That will always be up in the map unless there's a sandstorm or something, but you'll always be able to see that blue light. Let me just go in here because he should come in a second. And then that way I have secured my samples. So unfortunately, I couldn't show you all the other side objectives because he got into the shuttle before me. But when you're playing with more friends or people at higher levels, this is level 3 right now. If you're playing at higher levels, people usually stay and grind those side objectives for the more experience, as well as getting more samples to upgrade your ship. This game, it is fun to play by yourself, definitely, but I've honestly never had a game that's been more fun to play with friends. Of course, growing up, you play things like Super Smash Bros. With your friends, and that's a great time as you battle each other. You can do Warzone with your friends. You can just do like, you know, your regular Call of Duty deathmatch with your friends or Fortnite. But here, the 2, 3, 4 of you are working together over a common objective, and the harder the difficulty you play, things just get crazy and there is so much laughing and happy banter. It is the best time just for you and your bros to get together and destroy those alien herds. And what's cool about this game, if you are a solo player with no other friends that play this game, there's so many other players in this game that are happy to join. There's even a quick play feature that you can tap on the map where you can get partied with other players. But when it comes to a Helldivers 2 player's guide and mission, this is essentially a great starting point, and make sure you subscribe and follow along because we're gonna break everything down and let you know the top tips and tricks that'll make you a much better Helldivers player.